Hello everybody and welcome to a new Civ 5 series. I do apologize that the last one did not get finished. I had a corrupt save file or something. I couldn't get it to work. I'm really bummed about it because I started uploading every day. You guys were really supportive and I hate to do this to you. On the upside, it looks like we've rolled China, and in the last series I was making some mistakes simply because I was rusty, and hopefully that won't be the case now. So with any luck, this will be a much better run. For those who don't know, Chinese are in Civ 5 are very have a propensity for war. Their unique ability, they get great generals quicker and they're more effective. Their special building replaces the library. It's just like a library, except for instead of having one maintenance cost, it actually gives +2 gold. So it's like a 3 gold per city advantage China has. And then their unique unit replaces the crossbowman. It's a little bit weaker, but it automatically comes with the ability to fire twice. So overall, it does more damage, can spread the damage around better. So yeah, they're and of course, when you're going to war and stuff, money can be a problem. So the fact that their special building gives you money, really good stuff. Now, right off the bat, this is a terrible start. I mean, we got one good tile here, but it looks like our unique luxuries are both calendar style, which mostly just gives gold, and that's not very good for starting. Both the sugars we are going to have access to are in marsh, and this is hidden behind the forest, so a very tech-heavy start, which is never good. For this reason, I think I'm going to bypass pottery for the moment. I'm going to go with animal husbandry. First, it's only going to take 11 turns to research, whereas this says it'll take 15 turns for our borders to grow. I did set the settings to strategic balance, so we should have horses in our kingdom somewhere. And since most of our tiles are grassland, chances are we're going to get another 2 food, 1 hammer tile, and that's why I'm choosing animal husbandry first. Now with the warrior, I usually head away from the settler. I'm going to end up on a hill just for visibility's sake. And right off the bat, we can see another unique luxury. However, I'm not seeing much fresh water around, so I don't know how likely it's going to be that we settle that, but obviously we would like to try. It too is not the best unique luxury because it's more of a gold one. However, it does allow us to build a circus in that city, so it is something we should strive for if we're going to play wide. And I do have a tendency to do that. And of course, with China's unique building, the more cities you have, the more you can take advantage of that. So without knowing anything about the map, that's what I would be heading towards. Okay, we got a upgraded unit, which is great, and I can also see city-state border here, but I'm also seeing tundra. That tells us we're probably in the north, so maybe it's to the best that this isn't looking like the greatest settle, since it would probably be one of the last ones we settled anyways. You tend to want to expand into the center of the continent, which reminds me, I never did go over what settings we are. We're going to go with what I would consider to be my usual Pangea large immortal on standard speed. Let's meet these guys. Okay, and they are religious. It's going to take me till next turn to get up on the hill, so let's just come up here for visibility. And we are confirmed with the snow that we are definitely up in the north, so we're going to want to expand to the south first, probably. Looks like another city-state border there, so that's good. Go with monument next, usually. Get the borders growing, get the culture rolling so we can start getting policies and whatnot. Now, right now, my spearman's taking a counterclockwise, but he's going through the rough, so it might take him some time to get around. I think maybe matching the scout in a southwesterly direction and then like kind of pick up the slack where the spearman's not going would be a good idea. So I'm going to start heading for this hill here. And looks like I will not go on the hill because, oh geez. Okay, so Ethiopia is our nearest neighbor. We see him from the west or possibly southwest, or I suppose even possibly from the south. So somewhere in the west to southwest vicinity is where he seems to have come from. It's only turn 6, so that's probably going to be a pretty good indicator. And getting mining for free is actually pretty nice because that's going to get us closer to masonry and allow us to take down the trees right away. So That's not bad. Alright, we're first to meet them too, so we get some gold. And we got religious and maritime, which is food. So that's not bad. Capital doesn't have any really good growth tiles, so yeah, that's not a bad city-state to have access to here. This is a hill. Oh, and we got another city-state. Okay, culture. Now this is a little unfortunate, simply because of all the city-states we can see, this is the one that is the most accessible, so it's the one that's most likely going to be the one that we steal workers from. However, it's culture, and that I think is one of the most useful city-states to have early on. So it's a shame that we're going to have to be at odds with them. For those who don't know, I always switch to production focus automatically, but usually we're going to assign our tile for growth, especially in the beginning. We have to get our population up above all. So we'll continue scouting here. Okay, and now we've uncovered a deer tile. So while this might be an awkward settle, like maybe right here, it is viable, I suppose, because when you're going Liberty, you just need a few really good tiles. We could pop in a granary that would double up with this, so it'd be +3 food, and that'd be enough to grow to all these useful tiles. And we do have access to hills and stuff. And of course, plains farms aren't bad. It's going to take us till next turn to get over the river, so let's just go ahead and get some visibility. Probably notice a pattern for the first-time viewers that I try to make the most of my scouting efforts. Head up on the hill. Alright, and it looks like we're getting somewhat close to potentially another expand. We got some water here and wheat, but it's also desert, so we'll have to get a little bit more eyeballs. Since we did get the culture, we can actually choose a policy now. I don't see any reason to go tradition, and even though China lends itself to, like, say, an honor opening, because I'm so used to Liberty, anytime I open honor, it just feels really slow. So even if you are going more like a domination way, starting off Liberty is actually not so bad. So I will choose Liberty here. We probably will go into the honor tree, but I mean, it's going to depend a lot on how the map unfolds, so we'll keep at it.
Thou shalt not.
Alrighty, and we actually have 2 grass horses near, and we got it before the borders grow, so that's really good. We can, our first 2 border growths will actually be tiles we can use, and then we can let the Covenor slowly get to all of our crappy calendar tiles. So I will go to pottery now. Couple reasons. You kind of want to have pottery finished when you're picking up ruins and stuff, because if you do get attack, 3 second tier stem from pottery, so that greatly increases the potential value of a free tech ruin. But also because we are China and we do want to get the paper makers up sooner rather than later, especially with how tech heavy our start is. It might actually be worth it to go writing first and favor the paper maker. Okay, so this actually is a decent settle area. The only problem I have with it is that it's sugar, and we already have 2 copies of sugar. We'll have to scout some more, see if we can get some trade partners. I'm going to continue a little wide, and I'll explain why in a second here, but we can actually see red border here, and that's really nice. I was kind of hoping to find his borders, or his city rather, so now we have a good idea where he's coming from. And ideally I would have come up on this hill just to get a good look at his city, but since his unit's here, we'll come over here since we know it's a coast, and kind of get an eye on the backside of his city. A lot of hills, so that doesn't really tell us too much yet, but hopefully next turn he'll vacate there and we'll get some better eyes in there. I do see a city-state border here, but it's also a mountain chain, so I'm going to start heading back this way and clear out some of the cloud and see how we can maybe go meet them. Alright, we got these ruins. This looks like it might be a pass-through, but stepping here will actually hopefully clear out all this, so that's a good place to go anyways, even if it weren't for the ruins. And 80 gold is definitely nothing to sneeze at. We'll go ahead and lock in this tile here, It's really great that we went with animal husbandry first. Makes this city a lot better than what it was to start off with. So, lesson to be learned there. Okay, he's the truffle city. And he's already got a worker hard at work. But that tile the worker's on is surrounded by rough and rough. He's got to, so we would get annihilated if we tried taking that, which is unfortunate because we could use some workerage. Okay, more units, military units of his. Alright, this is what I was getting at as far as my spearmen taking kind of a bit of a wider arc. One of the problems I've had, and I especially had during that France run I was doing, was that I wasn't paying enough attention to military in the early game. Since there's no reason to go for a shrine this early, and we really don't have anything that we would want all that immediately, I'm going to build another warrior. The reason for that is because policy-wise, we are going to have a worker soon. And this way our opening units can actually focus more on scouting, which is what they should be doing at first. And this way we'll have something that can defend our homeland in the meantime. It's probably going to be my approach moving forward. Just as a default, obviously I'll change it up if the situation dictates, but Scout Monument, Warrior, as far as build order, just to, you know, maximize our potential start. Got another ruin there. Hopefully it's still there when we need it. And come up on this hill here, start completing visibility. Alright, this is one thing I don't like about Ethiopia's colors, is that they're not immediately distinguishable from barbarians. Live, it's pretty kind of easy to tell when they're side by side like this, but in post, video processing tends to mute colors a bit. Okay, this is not a bad settle. Like say right on this desert tile here. I mean, obviously there's no fresh water. We'll eventually have access to like freshwater farms here, but it's not the same as like being on a river. But a decent growth tile here, and of course deer is always good. From here we would get this deer eventually, but that would take some time. Still, 3 decent tiles including 1 good growth, and the deer is always good. Like, if this ends up being our first expand, which it might have to be just because he's right here, it would be our military city as far as pumping out units on an ongoing basis, since we're probably going to be military heavy. So having good growth and then good production, you know, we have plains farms and stuff like that. I guess what I was getting at is we'd want a higher population here, and if it's an early settle, that's not going to be hard. So granary with the deer, that would be quite good. Oh wow, yes, 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 this is really good. Okay, so now we have a spearman, an archer, and a warrior soon. I always rename scouts that get promoted like that to archers, just so later on I can tell just by glancing at the name that it's going to be a unit that can step and shoot rather than just a regular archer that's limited. So yeah, since I do have the warrior popping out momentarily, I'm just going to continue scouting. In fact, you know what? Since this is looking like coast here, I'll probably just head down to Kuala Lumpur and see if we can't find ourselves a worker. We're obviously going to get one for policy, and we're kind of like jammed up tech-wise, so we don't need a lot of workers right away, but you know, when you can grab them, you should. Now this looks like it would be a possible port city because you got the sugar here and the cows and a couple fish, but there would be no production whatsoever. You have to buy your way into this hill, and it's all grasslands too, so like there's just no hammers here. So I wouldn't recommend it. On the other hand, this does look like coast here. Maybe not so much here, but you know, he's missing tiles around his city is what I'm getting at. And in the second ring, here's another body of water. So any attack on him is going to be kind of segmented. Having to come around the back, it's rough, rough, rough as far as we can see. So it's not going to be an easy city to assail. And at this point, it does look like having a port city to support that would help. Maybe. I don't know. 2 boats, maybe. I don't know. We would have to see more of this land structure. we'll try and accomplish that at some point. Um, but see how it goes. All right, time to get our free worker. And let us see here. 2 turns until border growth. So this turn, 1, 2. I could start in 2, or I could start here in 2. So either way, I'm going to be able to start horses in 2 turns. But if I come here, I can start a farm. And once this warrior's out, we'll be at 3 pop. That's a good time to start a settler, especially since we kind of have to compete for this expand area here. So I'm thinking like once the horses become available, he can bounce over here, add a hammer to the tile, and then bounce back. And then by the time the settler comes out, we'll have a farm here, good growth tile, 2 decent production tiles, because then he'll come over here and do that. So that's actually not a bad plan of attack there. It'll give the city some form of like growth once we get the settler out. In the meantime, we step towards the hills just in case there's mountains here to be able to see them. Step up on the hill. Alright. And this is not the worst expand either. My concern when I first saw it was sugar, but we can see here 1, 2, 3. The marble would be in range, and when you're planning a Liberty City, the 3rd ring out isn't really something you can like depend on. However, from what we can see, if I settled like on this hill, which would, you know, give us an extra hammer anyways, and is on the river, the governor would probably choose this tile first and then the deer second, which means we could buy into the marble on a whim. So that's actually not bad either. So we've already got 1, maybe 2, 3, 4 good expands picked out. So it really does look like Liberty was a good choice for an opener. And of course, with that worker being able to improve our city tiles. Okay, so that culture, that'll be something else. And we got barbarian here and here. So this scout's probably done scouting for a moment. We'll probably bring him home and see if we can't start stealing some workers. But what I was going to get at is when you have a start like this that's kind of crappy, just researching animal husbandry first and choosing Liberty as our opener improves this city significantly. Obviously, the Liberty opener, not as good as the tradition opener, but gives us the extra culture, which helps us gobble up some tiles quicker. But also the free worker allows us to add a food here, add a hammer here, you know, improving the crappy tiles we have access to right away and quicker. And then, of course, the next policy we would choose actually adds production in every city. You know, so just ways you can take like a kind of crappy start and make it a bit better. Okay, everything's looking good. Public declaration from Ethiopia. I never pay attention to those, but maybe I should. Okay, so they're across the river, but we're going to totally annihilate them anyways. That's actually quite a lot of variance there. I thought it said something like in the low 90s. I didn't realize they could swing that much, but it's not a big deal because they'll get bombarded, and if they're still alive, we'll take them out. That'll actually give us credit with Kuala Lumpur. Unfortunately, it's not going to be much, and we're probably going to be attacking them anyways. Alright, so let us go ahead and move him over there and start on the hammer. Again, it's going to be because we're going to be building a settler. So the food's going to be pretty useless for the time being, whereas the hammer's going to be pretty great. And then we can bounce back and put the food on so that by the time the settler comes out, we'll have good there as well. Okay, so you might think calendar would be the next way to go, just because that's how we're going to get happiness, and we are planning a settler. However, happiness, I mean, calendar, masonry first before the calendar here, trapping over here, since, I mean, this looks like a decent, probably the first settle we'll need to take. I mean, we need a lot of text, right? So I think putting that time into writing, especially if we follow up the settler with a paper maker in the capital, would be a way to get to all of that. Maybe not sooner, but in about the same time frame and with greater momentum passing through that point. I hope that makes sense. So I think that's the way to go. We'll just hop up on this hill and start heading southwest, get back to where the action's probably going to be. Yeah, everything's looking great. Okay, so we managed to take what was a pretty crappy start, and we're getting something out of it here. So we'll just keep heading southwest with him, and there's our third pop and warrior popping out. So let's go ahead and hit settler. Usually when you're doing a settler, you want to play with your tiles because food does contribute to hammers, but you can see by the tiles we have, this is the absolute best configuration possible. Just happens to be what we would be doing if we weren't building a settler. So, yep, there's that credit. So I'll just have him heal up here just to keep an eye on the horses and the furs. I don't actually know which one the AI would do first. But let's head over this way. Probably maybe do the scoop up the camp. Maybe grab a worker. Just don't know. Mainly we want eyes over here because if he's going to start trying to settle it, maybe we can delay him in a useful manner. Okay, we actually got a promotion off of that. Everything looks calm, so we'll just heal. He's gonna head over. On the off chance we can't scoop up this, because we did see his units here, so he might be addressing it. I'm gonna have this guy keep going west. That way we got eyes here, and we're closer to getting to like maybe his backside, since chances are all these tiles are developed, and maybe the hill's not. And then as the archer's coming through here, if he happens to see that we need the warrior can just cut through and help out with that. I think that's a good plan. Of course, it does mean that right now the warrior kind of got to get out of the archer's way so that we can do that. And we'll just continue healing here. Ooh, did you see how that turned orange? That means they are ripe for tribute, so there's 65 free gold. And the hate we acquire by doing that is not only very minimal, but really doesn't going to matter here because we're probably going to be attacking them sooner rather than later. Okay, so yeah, it does look like they're going to be addressing that, so I'll have the scout keep eyes on that. In the meantime, let's see if this warrior... And you know, with their units being occupied here, that means they're probably going to be less likely to repel an attack if I do take their workers. So that's a neat little synergy there. This is why I was so excited to get the archer, because it just gives us so much more flexibility as far as... Oh, you know, I didn't even check. Alright. Well, I'm going to tell him to buzz off because I don't really care about relations with him right now. Typically, before you go to ask for tribute, you want to like bring up the declare war screen just to see who they're under the protection of. There might be other ways to check it out without like risking accidentally bumping the war. So yeah, 2 barbarians. I'm just going to come up on the hill. Oh, and he's got 3 units. Okay. So not only are they away from where the warrior is going to be, but they might be damaged, so where when this attacks, this can like finish them off maybe? I don't know, there's 3 to 1, so I would have to be careful about how I did it, but certainly possible. And he does not want our horses, which is fine, because at the rate we're going, it looks like he would only pay for a couple turns on those. Uh-oh, we're in the border. But we're also fully healed, so now we can like afford to move around. Let's step in for visibility. Okay, more coast. We'll get out of the borders. I'd want to stay here if the AI was going to do the horses first, but I honestly don't know which one he's going to do. So we'll just keep stepping in. It really doesn't matter, because however upset we get them, it's just going to, you know, be trivial compared to what it would be if we declared war. Let's see here. Oh, there's a worker. And it looks like he haven't started yet, so... Okay. Well, if we'd be on rough here, we'd get bombarded, and we'd have to be on rough here and get bombarded again. And we can see that there's nothing here, and this is probably water. So there's a chance he might have 1 military unit. But it looks like that would be okay if it was just the 1. So I think we could extract that, because he's over here, right? And he's actually probably going to be moving, so Yeah, let's back this guy up and shoot that. Maybe it's soft enough for him to go after it, hopefully. That would be nice. Yeah, we don't see any warrior there. So, okay. And over here we'll keep stepping on and checking on it. Yep, and that farm will be done before the settler comes out, so that's good too. Alright, policy time. Extra hammer can't hurt. It would probably be too early to go in the honor tree now, although that's obviously an option since we do have a small army and we're going to have a little bit of land. The slowness of the honor tree would kind of be offset by that, but since we have identified so many decent settle locations, I think sticking with Liberty at least through the free settler would be worthwhile. Okay, I think it's go time here. I'm thinking worst case scenario, there's going to be one warrior here, but not two. And that means we get 3 hits on us, but both of them are going to be when we're in the rough. Probably survive that, so that's pretty awesome. Obviously, it's going to take time to get it back. And might as well shoot this guy, right? We might get a little massacre going on here. That'd be awesome. Okay, warrior. Not in the greatest shape, but looks like he will survive one more bombard. Alright, took him out entirely. Very nice. Okay, so once the settler's done, we'll move this citizen over here and continue to work the horse. And since we were improved 2 out of the 3 tiles we'd be working, let's go improve the 3rd. Alright, still no worker there. Which is fine. We've already got 2. And we don't really have the text for them to do anything right now, so, you know. There we go. Alright, we did survive by the skin of our teeth, but looks like we're going to... Oh, cool. And there's a barbarian here to come and distract them, so looks like we're going to make our getaway clean. Spices, not important right now. I mean, obviously we could come here and chop the forest down, but the production isn't something we need right this second. I'd rather have the hammer on the extra hammer on the tile we're already occupying. Alright, so let me step up on the hill. Okay, more Ethiopians we can attack, so that's pretty cool. Oh, look at that! Okay, so we get the upgrade and we will be able to eliminate that too. So wow, alright, so there's 2 warriors of his we've taken away in the early turns. That's really good. Okay, tech. Okay, if I do calendar, it just gets us this right now, which is, I mean, happiness, so that would be nice. Whereas if we take trapping, not only could we do this one, but also this tile. And then, of course, the city's first expand is going to be right here. So I think trapping, even though this isn't the capital, right now I think trapping is the more relevant tech. We got this worker right here. He could probably like just do a farm on the plains. Yeah, because that settler's about to come up right when the worker gets here. So we'll put a farm here and then trapping will be live and we'll yeah, I think that's the way to go. Good deal so far. It'd be nice if Kuala Lumpur would give us a worker. Then we'd have 3, and then as the techs unfold, we can... Alright, so settler is done. Let's go ahead and fix our tiles. We'll do that. Grow a little bit quicker. Gotta go with the paper maker, right? Yeah, gotta go with the paper maker. I'd really like to make another unit here, like maybe even a scout. The fact that we don't have a scout right now is actually not bad, because we're doing some pretty dirty deeds here. And less people knowing about that's pretty nice, actually. But at the same time, because we have duplicate sugar, we're going to want it sooner rather than later. But we do need calendar and masonry, so it's not an emergency. Whereas if we can get that gold and science flowing, because there's just not good growth in this city. So we're going to need the science for all those techs we need. So I'm going to prioritize that. We'll keep healing there. This is a good place to keep an eye on things. If he was to come after that guy, I would back him up, obviously, but right now it's a good way to heal and keep some visibility going. Hopefully there's no barbarian camps here, because our units are a little tattered at the moment, but it's not going to stay that way. Keep on healing. Ah, there's our worker. Nice. Okay, he did go for the first. That's excellent. That is really great. Okay, so now we actually have more workers than we have uses for, which is fine, because as we expand more and more, like, the cities we leave behind will be just that much more developed. That is excellent. One of the problems going wide is that I think that's part of the reason why the policy actually expedites tile improvement, because that's just one of the oh, okay. Whew, I saw that pop up and I thought I was going to be in trouble, but it's just a scout. And the nice thing about that is the AI tends not to use scouts as far as, like, offensively, like pillaging and capturing workers and the like. So this worker is actually pretty safe, despite the fact that there's nobody there to help him. I do think once I drop the city, though, this archer will come over and help. Although that scout's probably just passing by, so probably not even an issue. Let's see here. Kathmandu desires a trade route. Oh, it's this one. Too much dark right now. And there's a camp here, so... And we got better stuff to build, so that won't be for a while, if at all. But it would be a nice way to pick up faith, satisfy what they want. They're probably going to be calling out for that camp at some point, so as we start... Bratislava is looking for science. Alright, well, we did favor the paper maker, so there's that. And the scout's actually sitting tight. Alright, well, maybe we got something for him. Production focus, manually choose the food, and start with a monument. Every time you plant a city, you increase the cost of future techs and policies, but the idea is that you end up generating more to offset that, but that is why most of the time you'll see me building a monument first, and I think we can afford to do that now. I do want to start building units, but I'm thinking we got a good start here. We annihilated part of him. This isn't going to be a factor right away, so we probably have time to do monument and paper maker in that city. We'll see how it goes, but I don't see why that would be a problem. Alright, Spearman will come up here for visibility. I'll basically just have the Spearman and the Archer, like, tag team him. He'll probably run away by then, but, what else are they going to do right now? Getting this area defended while we're at war is not a bad idea. So, we'll just... And then, of course, we can have this worker head up here and do farm. In fact, as trapping gets near finish, maybe he comes over here, and one of them can do a hammer here while the other one works on the happiness. That's a good idea. Because right now our expand has more tiles that could be enhanced than the capital does. So, alright, and there's the horses. We got maximum tile yield on all the tiles we're actually working, which is great. Alright, I came this way for visibility, and similarly I'll start cutting up here to maintain visibility as we approach. This is looking safe though, so that's good. Looks like the timing of him being able to start on the truffles is pretty decent too, so happiness probably be an issue for like 1 second, but after that not a problem. Okay, let's go ahead and start. We can at least chop the wood here, because what else are we going to do with the workers right now other than put grassland farms, and we already have about as many as we're going to even need. So I'll step up here, step here. Okay, looking good. Alright, let's shoot it. And if I hit it with the Spearman, he will almost certainly run away. So can I step here and shoot it? I can't. So let me come up here. Maybe we can step and shoot as he's running away, if he runs away. That's one of the nice things about the Scout Archer. Alright, so he'll just chop that down for the wood right now. And then probably come over and do farms. As long as we time everything to where the trapping works out, should be good. He's fully healed, so we'll come up here for visibility's sake. Probably come up here too, keep an eye on what he's doing. I doubt we'll be able to get another worker off him, especially since he can see this hill from that. But you never know. We'll keep an eye on. Okay, and he is. So bam, there we go. We've killed yet another military unit. And we haven't met anybody yet, so maybe this will be a good time to make peace with him. Or at least see what he'll give us for it. Okay, he is willing to give us stuff, so what I'm going to try and do is take all of his money. We'd get a lump sum of 174 right now, and then 5 gold per turn. Obviously, after 10 turns, we could attack him again, so we might miss out on some of that gold per turn, but with that lump sum would be pretty helpful right now. Let's see if he goes for it. I must accept. I think that means it's heavily in his favor from his perspective. Alright, so lots of free money. 2 free workers. We killed off 3 of his units already. I'd say this is a pretty fantastic start. And we're quite a bit past the half-hour mark. I got a little carried away there. First war was a success, if I do say so myself. Before I forget, let's do that, and then let's move him here, because it says 2 turns. When I move here, it'll say 1 turn, which means he'll be able to get started right away. So yeah, I'm glad I caught that before I signed off. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope this kind of makes up for the fact that I couldn't finish the last series. I promise I will see this through. I was really excited being able to publish every day and the support you guys gave me, so I do intend to keep that up. Thank you for your patience in the meantime. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.